All right, so I'm going to show you how to build a table like this. It is surrounding a Breeo 24-inch X-Series fire pit, and basically it's 4 pieces of 12-foot long 1x6 ipe, and that's the top surface there. It's like a Brazilian exotic hardwood. Basically, I think they call it Brazilian walnut. And then I have like American walnut down here. These are just little like thin planks for aesthetics only to close out. I raised the fire pit by the thickness of 2 bricks. You can see the bricks are just like, cemented together, and then the feet are laying on them. But I wanted to close out that it doesn't look great. There's some videos later on that'll show how it looks without those little facades. Yeah, the only thing I would not recommend with this is the ipe was like kind of difficult to find, and I used the router and like general tools on Tuesday last week, and I had a respirator, which you like definitely should wear minimum, and then I also had gloves and a t-shirt. But what happened is I don't even think this is an allergic reaction. It could be. It's extremely itchy, and it's on both arms. But it's now Monday, so it's 6 days later, and it is really hard to sleep. And I've like lathered this with cortisone and aloe. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do other than wait. So I would not use ipe if I were you. I would just use American walnut on the top. It would probably look just as good. I wanted to use ipe for the fire resistance, but there's like a birch biscuit in here, and it did fine after a single burn that got pretty hot. So yeah, don't mess around with ipe, in my opinion. All right, one last thing with this allergic reaction to the ipe. I should have recommended going to see a doctor. It's now 6 days after that last video, and basically I saw a doctor 3 or 4 days ago. She gave me prednisone and this other cream that helps tremendously with the itching. Like basically it immediately started helping, and it ended up being really cheap. So yeah, I do have like some like visible blotchiness on my skin still, but for the most part it has like really cleared up, and I'm sleeping a lot better. So it has been like roughly 2 weeks though, so I mean, like, this is definitely a long-lasting reaction. And I think part of the reason why it lasted so long for me was because I was like leaning on sawdust on the router table when I was using the router, and basically this part of my forearm where I was leaning, as you'll see in the videos later, got actually like swollen. The muscle got swollen, and that was like for the most part where the rash was the worst. So yeah, just basically you need steroids to get over this, I think. All right, so in terms of the actual project, I designed this in QCAD, which is like freeware 2D CAD design software. So what I came up with is just this leg that has a horizontal piece and a gusset, like a support piece, to mount like all 3 pieces of wood. Basically there's going to be an outer layer, inner layer, and like this middle layer, and the intent was there would be a gap between them, which makes it easier to clean and just like reduces the likelihood of water pooling. But yeah, so this leg is just axisymmetric, and there's 4 legs that I was able to weld individually. It's 1 1/4 inch steel tube, and I just used a small MIG welder. And then the tricky part was this horizontal span. That's the only thing holding the legs together without the wood. And you should probably, because I was able to use magnets for the legs, but you should probably have someone help you hold the horizontal pieces, or make a jig maybe. But if you're just doing one, it would be too long to make a jig, I think. So yeah, this is was designed just with QCAD, like I said. But the one thing I forgot to do is add the thickness of this wood. So it happened to be roughly the thickness of these plastic feet that I made, which you'll see me mention briefly. And I just swapped the thickness of this top wood for the thickness of the foot. So I have like painted steel right on the brick, but I honestly don't really see it being a major issue. I don't think it's going to be that likely to rust, but I just used regular Rust-Oleum roll-on paint. I used the primer layer. It would be better to powder coat it, as long as the powder coating holds up, or something a little more durable, because it's already it was used once, and I think, you know, we like put our feet here with sandals or something, it's already flaking off. But even though I used the wire wheel to prep the surface, the metal surface, so yeah, maybe something a little more durable than the Rust-Oleum, which is already oil-based. So I thought it would be durable enough, but yeah, or just try to maybe put a clear coat on it. That might do the trick.